Night, you who watch over this transition, you who watch over the route that we have traced, thank you very much to thank you here. So our customary and religious authorities who spare no effort for us. Support for the mobilization of young people to be engaged within the VDPs who help the FDS on the ground understand something. The father of the revolution communicated a lot. I am talking here about Thomas Sankara. In one of his remarks he told you this: imperialism is a bad student. When he's out of class he always comes back, and I remember that in his address to his friends. So the CDAO he said that to break the umbilical cord that binds us to imperialism. Don't go looking for a state magician with smart fingers, a sharp scissor to break this cord. But rather, you will need a sturdy lumberjack with a good axe sharpened to give a sharp blow and break the cord. That says it's all. I'm going to explain one to you. Little, how does imperialism arise behaves after the assassination of the father of the revolution. Precisely the regime that had given imperialism took hold in the 90s. You'll remember a program that was imposed on us. The program of action structural, it was plan. I explains by implementing this program in our region. You have noticed over the 2 decades that followed, all our factories which were in place have been privatized. Our economy has been unstructured. They have battled, they started to go south. We still remember when the regime in place in Bamako at the time called on forces foreigners. It did not take more than a few hours for it to deploy. It was well prepared. They deployed. They pretended to stop the terrorism. And immediately we saw the installation of several forces foreigners in Mali for 10 years. During these 10 years, terrorism was contained in the north, it was invited to the south. And Burkina Faso was infested from 2015. Everything was well planned and well thought. I still remember when we were north of Tombouctou, Weatherfall, saw special forces from these countries coming to overtake us and go in depth, and on their return they were T-red. They have small machines after all, and many other geological equipment that we contemplate. We asked where he got this red land, because by patrolling around we don't have any landed. Maybe he was digging, he was probing. We don't know what he wastes it.
About the Malian sky no longer belonging to the Malians. Everything was well thought out when people who were fighting on the ground also made the observation that they decided at a given moment to take the
responsibility, and here they come out of nowhere. We are called putschists. We're not French, we do not understand what that means. Say the local vol, who surely do not even understand the deep meaning of wood to us apple. Also, very well we appropriate it over these years for this, which concerns Burkina Faso. You must have noticed all the bodies were unstructured, no more training, no more anything for the army. They imposed in all our staffs, all our schools, and all our strategic structures, what they called council soldiers, when we revolted on September 30, 2022. The first thing was to find out who are you idiots, military, and where they were, so we were able to identify that the evil is deep. And the first things was to ask him to leave our army. They left, and what I told you not long ago, you cannot hope to find your lost object by calling on the one hostlet from you to come and help you search. It was therefore necessary to decide to make decisions courageous. What we decided to do was not without consequence, because when we already asked the advisor to leave, we felt some demonstrations. We were made to understand that we will not be able to get by without them, and each time it told us this results in large-scale attacks on the ground. We have received the message. When we were awarded the year 2023, we decided to tell the foreign forces present here to leave, because we want to leave Burkina Faso. They certainly don't have it appreciated. But why come and die on our land for us we prefer. Fight ourselves we asked for him to return to them. Unfortunately, I'm telling you here today, as I like to say it, colonization has returned. There are living room slaves who have still not understood its time. Military officers wrote to US and approached us to tell us that it was a very bad decision and that we were not going to last 2 months of the sheets were written. These sheets were sent to us for analysis. Strategic of their thoughts, we said it's either we are sovereign where we remain slaves forever. Actually, when the last soldier left Burkina Faso, we understood what it was about. The attacks followed one another. Immediately from Tynico of Partigue, thus from sweets, but what they had forgotten is that the people of Burkina Faso had understood our message, and it was on the same path as we reorganized ourselves quickly and suddenly. We found that all the terrorist sleeper cells have awakened in Burkina Faso. We reorganized the army as quickly as possible at a speed unrivaled. We have created several units, and even if several more are to come, we equip them, and today this equipment continues specs in the days to come. The months to come, what you will see coming to Burkina Faso must make our army a power to fear. We are not going to skimp on the means. We have understood that the fight, who is committed against imperialism, will be tough. Very tough, but only the tough are going to pass, and the Burkinabés are tough, and we are going to pass, is to tell you that imperialism has plenty of time. When it wants to destabilize, it looks at the immediate. If it is not possible, he lays the groundwork to do it in 10 years, 20, 30 years old. But he has no interest in us buying independent today. All he wants for Burkina Faso is the chose, because that they hope to bring its foreign forces here and hope to recover the situation in 10 years, even in 20 years. We will never let them reach in this objective. That is why we have warned for more than a by the local valets, the parlor slaves, so that they do not betray their homeland for the benefit of imperialism. Some have understood this, others have not understood, perhaps believing themselves to be smarter. But today we no longer have any feelings on this aspect. Whoever betrays his homeland for the benefit of imperialism will be treated as such, returning to our famous Tao. Since we decided to leave the CDAO, parlor slaves have been operated of Raiwa. They want to scare the people, they want to scare everyone. Thank goodness in the recent past, there were only a handful of people who were entitled to speech on TV sets, is what he said to himself, who was therefore ready for gospel today. With new technologies, which of course have pros and cons, everyone has the right to speak, and I think the W's are thefts to confirm that everyone can do their analysis on a situation. We can certainly be wrong, but when someone comes to us to understand, we are open to explaining the procedures to you here. We will explain to you why we left this CDAO and where we are heading. Let's leave. Remember that it was in 75 that this was created, and it was created for the majority of putist heads of state, like Eddie liked to say, were soldiers who took power and took control responsibilities for creating the CDAO, so that there is real growth economic of the peoples inside there. This space later the so-called Democrats invited themselves, so at the head of our states there they emptied completely the community of its foundation. When on June 26 Niger decided to take his destiny in hand, we were surprised to see the CAOPIA from I don't know where with a force in waiting. Where was this force when thousands of Nigerians were killed by the terrorists? Where was this force when thousands of Malians from Burkina died under the bullets of terrorists? They said that by force they were therefore going to dislodge the valiant sons of the Niger who took destiny in hand of the country. Do you believe that it is Femslets who are at the Niger? There are fighters, their Nigerian armies. Warrior, he has been fighting 4 years. It is not a parade army, a peacekeeping army, and the Armies have decided to unite Uelites wait for this strength. Wait, it must be so-called Democrat understand when thousands of Nigerians died on their beds. Hospital due to lack of electricity or lack of medicine is a crime. They are responsible for these sanctions. They are responsible for these deaths. The same thing is happening in Mali. With Burkina we have indirect sanctions because people must understand when they leave, take their instructions in the other side. They come, they do everything to apply it. It's sample. Some have decided not to provide electricity to our country. It's not free, we pay, and that contributes to their economy. They tried to make the economy suffer. Mali, and of course by making all the texts and no longer giving electricity in Mali, hoping that the population will revolt. It doesn't work when it lasted. Some were forced to make their own people pay by increasing the cost of electricity. Will increase again. This gives us several lessons in the sense that the independence that we take, the sovereignty that we take, we must do everything so that it is. They gave us very good lessons and we did very well. Understood. Some have closed their ports, which moreover goes against everyone. International texts, because we cannot close the ports to a landlocked country. They did it, they violated the texts. The international community did not say a word. No one spoke in Thikawas, but in the ports we do not transit our goods. Free we pay. And those who the bottom today reaps their broken skins, and I think that's a lesson for them also, that we should still not apply the instructions of their masters. He must understand it. Forever the CDAO has never done communicated to congratulate a victory of our barely armed. She condemns with lip service and very rarely when there are massacres. Where is this CDAO of the people? In short, we cannot cite all the harm that has been done to our people, but we have decided with all soul and conscience to withdraw and concentrate on our organization common. Remember that there is no fear. Because while prospecting and getting to work, we noticed one thing recently. Some have decided to ban the export of certain food products to Burkina Faso. Very well. They gave a duration. We will ensure that at the end of this duration, we will prohibit in triumph these products on our territory. We are capable, and we are very capable. We have had a lot of experience this year, and I can assure you that on the food side Burkina can be self-sufficient, and we have brave peasants. We will do everything possible so that our peasants can plough their land and cultivate with dignity, and I challenge anyone to this, that if we decide today in Burkina Faso to be the leading cocoa exporter in 3 or 5 years, we will be, because we can. On industrialization, several projects are underway for 2024. We are not going to mention them here, but we are certainly going to do everything to ensure that these projects see the light of day. 2024, when you take the economy somewhere, we listen, it's pitiful. They don't even have the courage to make the people understand that there is less than 5% of economic exchange between the SADC states, because everything we bring in comes from space outside the SADC. Our imports for the majority, and everything we export through the CDAO. The intellectual dishonesty of some means that they cannot say it, because they are living room slaves. They can tell you that so that you can be confident, but I invite you to stay confident and imperturbable, because we can have this independence both on the food level and on the industrial level. It's possible, and we're getting started on it. Path, therefore, the words which tend to scare you, which tend to so panic it, you have to get rid of it. We will go there. Arrive, therefore, returning to a general aspect in Africa. Thomas Sankara said that the slave who is not capable of assuming his revolt does not deserve that we feel sorry for him. Fate will be the only one responsible for his misfortune if he has illusions about the suspicious condescension of a master who claims free. It only the struggle liberates, and I'm leaving you say that if to free a slave has illusions about the providence of a belief that his master gave him impost to keep him in, Darkness he sticks his finger in his eye, he will remain forever blind in their darkness, and will never see the. God himself said God doesn't like the lazy God, does not like the ignorant God, does not like the one who does not. Don't fight because they say help yourself, and the sky will help you and I will not ignore. A part of the slogan, therefore, of the pioneers who live among us today: dare to fight now, how to conquer we have. Dare to fight in the AES, and we will know how to win. Have no fear. The citizen watch that you have engaged is a message to Africa, and Burkina Faso stands united and supports all the people of Africa who suffer martyrdom, but we also want to say that it is time that the Africans stop feeling sorry for themselves, moping, lamenting. You have to fight. It won't come from heaven alone. You have to fight first and God will help you. And Burkina Faso is ready to help all the people who will lead this. Tell all these people who are fighting it is time that they tell the truth to their leaders in Burkina Faso when it came to us contributing so that the FDS was equipped. The deputies no longer have a salary today. They only have allowances. The salaries of minister were reduced to the maximum, and the people contributes. You cannot fight and want the leaders to be in an insulting luxury. The people must wake up and demand this from them. Leaders, and to conclude, I therefore appeal to all people of Lays through you, so that they remain united and solidarity. All suffering has an end that we have committed is hard, but you have to keep your head on the shoulders, because the fatal weapon of imperialism remains manipulation. Through communication, know how to recognize local suitcases, no recognize parlor slaves, know how to recognize, although a Brubeto come and sell you false information for yourself. Stay serene and do not divide yourselves, because imperialism has 1,000 ride in your bag. You must be vigilant and very vigilant. Thank you to you VDPs, therefore, from the different cities who watch day and night so that our homeland remains standing, and therefore pay homage every day. Tafts and VDP who are fighting. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you to everyone who came here so that we can maintain. Thanks to those who are outside who have not been able to access the homeland or the dead you.